Welcome back to The Pursuit of Accuracy. I'm Josh, and today we are taking a look at the Tikka T1X MTR. This will be part one of a two-part review on this. So part one, we have the rifle in its stock configuration. We'll be taking a look at this. We'll be going over some of the finer details. We'll do a little bit of shooting with it. And then in part two, this will go back in the PDC custom chassis, and we will torture test this thing to see if we can get it to fail. Stick around. By heavy request, we have the Tikka T1X MTR here to review today. So as I said, this will be part one, so we're going to talk about this quite a bit and we're going to compare this. So I think a fair comparison for this rifle at its price point is going to be a CZ457 and specifically the varmint. So this is around $450 to $530 street price depending where you get it. You may be able to find it a little bit cheaper, but online that's generally what they run. And the CZ457 varmint runs pretty much about the same, and they're pretty similar rifles. So if you're on the fence about a budget rifle for a precision rimfire build, then this is definitely worth looking at. Hopefully by the end of the series, you'll know which rifle will be right for you. So let's get into those details. So the first thing I want to start with is the barrel. So the Tikka T1X MTR does come with a cold hammer forged barrel with a sporter chamber. So the varmint at the same price point when the CZ457 is going to give you the same sporter type chamber. Now the 457s do come in a lot more flavors, so you can get those with match chambers, but if you buy the Tikka T1X MTR, this is how you're gonna get it. This is the only way it comes. Now a lot of people get wrapped up on the chamber. A match chamber is nice, but I found that a lot of sporter chambers tend to be accurate with a lot of different ammos. They're less ammo picky. Now you may get a little more accuracy out of the match chamber, but it is gonna tend to be a little bit more ammo picky. So fit and finish. Both of these rifles, both the CZ457 and the Tikka T1X MTR, have extremely nice fit and finish. They're what I consider to be an heirloom rifle, something that you could buy, take care of, and pass down to your kid, and it's still gonna be in good shape because they really build quality rifles. As far as fit and finish goes, I'm gonna call that a wipe right across the board. So the trigger. The Tikka trigger is pretty nice. It is a little heavy like the 457 out of the box, but you can get really cheap spring kits for these. If you take a look at a 457 and this rifle with a spring kit, they're gonna have about the same pull weight. The Tikkas seem to come out a little bit on the heavier side, but it's really not enough to make a huge deal. So again, I say even wash in the trigger department. If you wanna go lighter or a little bit better trigger, there are aftermarket options, as the Tikka T1X MTR is compatible with the T3X centerfire upgrade. So if you can get a trigger for the T3X, it'll work for the T1X. If you can get a stock or a chassis for a T3X, it'll work for the T1X. Same kind of story with the CZ457. You can get a Timney trigger, you can get a trigger by Scar, or you can just do the Yo Dave trigger spring kit. So triggers, again, wash, upgrade, aftermarket, pretty much a wash. There's a lot of aftermarket support for both rifles. So the one category I feel like where this Tikka T1X MTR does lose the battle against the CZ is the factory stock. Now, like I said, this rifle comes in one flavor, and that's this flavor. Polymer stock, cold hammer forged barrel, the same receiver. The CZ457 does allow you to kind of shop around, and your budget's gonna go up and down, whether you want something a little bit more basic to a little more advanced. So for less money, you can get the CZ with a polymer stock. At the same price point as this rifle, you can get the CZ457 varmint, which is going to come with a nice wood stock, and it's going to be a lot more rigid and a little bit better than this factory stock that's polymer. So not a huge fan of polymer stocks, but as far as polymer stocks go, they didn't do a bad job at this. You can tell this is patterned to be more of a sporter type rifle based on, you know, the grippiness and all these things that they've done with it. But all in all, it's not the worst, but it definitely loses in comparison to the CZ457 just on the stock alone. So probably the biggest difference in these two rifles is going to be the action. So the Tikka T1X has a very short bolt throw, and a lot of people are really going to like that. I like it. I think it's very nice. The CZ does have a little longer bolt throw, but it's nice all the same. Both actions are equally as smooth and slick. You can apply pressure to the bolt pretty much in any direction, and it still functions just like it should. So there are some cheaper rimfires out there, and I won't name names, that do have actions that where if you were to pull the bolt back and apply pressure, it would basically put the bolt in a bind, and that's just due to tolerances in production. So they kept the tolerances nice and tight, and it's made the action pretty slick on this rifle. If you know anything about Tikkas are pretty well known for having a very nice action right out of the box, and it looks like they have successfully continued that trend with the Tikka T1X. So I think at the end of the day, if you're trying to decide whether you're going to buy a T1X or a CZ457 or some other rifle, I think the biggest thing to ask yourself is, do you already own a T3X? Do you have the centerfire version of this? If you do, then basically you can get the same pattern rifle. A lot of your stuff's going to swap over, and it's going to make your life a lot easier. Now, if you don't own a T3X and you don't really have a preference, you're just buying a rimfire to shoot in a precision rimfire match or play with at the house, then I would steer most people towards the CZ. I feel like you can get a little bit more for your money starting out. Now, if you don't have a T3X, then I would say it's really just going to be a preference thing. Just go look at one, kind of feel one out. You're probably going to like one versus the other, but I feel like you're going to get a little bit more bang for your buck out of the CZ at the same price range as you are the T1X. They're both extremely accurate rifles. They've both been extremely reliable. Now, I put 400 or 500 rounds through this already, just doing some preliminary ammo testing, seeing what it likes, seeing how it shoots, and playing around with it. I've had zero malfunction, so it's been totally reliable for me. So one thing I do like that Tikka has done is they do include a 10-round magazine when you buy this. If you buy a CZ, you're not getting a 10-round magazine. The only thing I really not crazy about is, one, the size. They're a little bulky for what they are, and the extension option. So you can see the size of this magazine with extension. Now, I think this is a 12 or 13 round magazine with this extension, but if you compare that to this is a CZ magazine that is a 13 round magazine. So you can see there's quite a bit of size difference. Now, some people may prefer the size of this. It does give you a lot more area to purchase, but I prefer to have kind of a smaller magazine. I can slip it on the side of the rifle. I can put it in my pocket. I just kind of like the little CZ mags. So you don't have to take my word for it. What we're going to do is I'm going to set the targets up, and we're going to shoot this at the 50 yards at an ARA target, and we'll see how it performs. So I haven't spent a ton of time looking for the magic lot. I kind of shot through what I have and kind of found what it liked to shoot a little bit better, and it likes my Ely match. So we're going to shoot that on some groups for you, just so you can get an idea about the accuracy potential of this rifle. And I say it's just as accurate as a CZ. You find the right lot of ammo and this thing will shoot. So let's get that set up and we'll get going with that. So we've got an ARA target out there at 50 yards. We're going to shoot this a little bit and just see what this will do, and just what kind of accuracy we can achieve. So we are going to be shooting the Ely match that my rifle likes. All right, so as first target, we're just going to shoot a couple of siders, see how it goes. This is cold bore. I haven't shot this rifle in several hours. So we'll start at that top left and we'll make that a sider. A little bit high. There we go. Coming down now. Go ahead and finish off these 10 rounds and just make this Fowler / warmers. Yeah, she's starting to group now. It's trending a little high. All right, so we'll make one adjustment. We're gonna bring it down 1 more tenth, and let's shoot a couple groups. We'll do some 5-shot groups. We'll go to the next target over and see what we can pattern with this. That's not a good first shot. Oh, not too bad. Did throw one, but again, this isn't to show that this is the ultimate accuracy you can achieve out of this. This is just some Ely match that happen to shoot pretty decent, so it's going to give you an idea on how it shoots. Second group now. For a factory trigger, it's not bad. So he put a trigger spring in this, and it's factory trigger with a trigger spring. It's pretty good. It's not amazingly light or anything, but it breaks cleanly, and it's definitely manageable. You see, it's not grouping bad at all. All right, let's shoot one more group. And I've had pretty much no issues with these mags. They seem to be of at least the same quality as the CZ plastic mags. So no issues there for me. I do not mind these mags at all. All right, next one over. Same hole there. Oh. Ah. Oh. I mean, it's hard to complain about that. All right, so we got a couple rounds left. I moved that camera down to 135 yards. We are just gonna hold over and guesstimate some elevation here. So let's see what we get. See if we can get on target here. My guesstimate is about 3, maybe 3.3. So I'm gonna hold over the 3 mil mark, kind of on top side of the plate. There we go. Yeah, a little lower than I thought, but we'll stick with that hold. There we go. There we go. One more. There we go. Definitely an accurate enough rifle to do whatever you need to do with it, for sure. All right, so you can see by those groups we shot that this rifle does perform pretty well. I mean, it shot a really good group out there at 135 yards. You know, and the conditions weren't perfect, but it was hitting that steel really reliably, and this has been a great little rifle for me. There is a part 2. We're gonna throw this back into the chassis. We're gonna throw it on some positional props, run the rifle really hard. I think it's a pretty even keel across the board between the CZ and the Tikka T1X. I do give the slight advantage to the CZ, but it's mostly gonna come down to preference. They're really just preference type things. So I encourage you, if you're interested in this rifle, go out to your local gun shop, find one on the shelf, work the action a little bit, see if you like this stock, how this stock feels, and then check out a CZ and then buy whichever one you prefer the most. You really can't go wrong with either. So if you haven't noticed by now, I'm wearing the new shirt. It does look slightly different. Like I said, these will be on the website 9 p.m. Eastern on Monday, ready to order. And again, guys, I really do appreciate all the support for all you posting positive comments, for all you liking the videos. It really does go a long way. I appreciate it. So throw this video a like, subscribe if you aren't already, and we'll catch you on the next one.